strange adventures. Those strange plants emitting an eerie blackness that's spreading over the entire Earth. We've got to destroy the plants by burning them up.
We cannot allow the atomic knights to destroy the secret weapon we are using to conquer the Earth.
An amazing Atomic Knights adventure when the Earth blacked out. The Atomic Knights. Gardner Grail, leader of the Atomic Knights. Douglas Harold, school teacher. Maureen, Harold's sister. Bryndon, one of the last scientists left alive on Earth. Wayne and Hollis Hobart, brothers and loyal Atomic Knights. This fight will decide who controls the Earth, we humans or these mole creatures. Wherever the strange figures appeared, the sun vanished, and an eerie darkness spread over the Earth like a blight. Who were the dread apparitions? Where did they come from? These were some of the questions the Atomic Knights had to answer when the Earth blacked out. October 9th, 1986. The horror that all Earth dreaded. Atomic war burst forth and exploded over the length and breadth of the globe, destroying what man had spent centuries building. Evidently, on that momentous day, someone's finger pressed the button which sent nuclear death on its way and triggered the Holocaust, which almost completely wiped out life on our planet. But of the 8 nations possessing H-bombs in that era, which one fired the first shot? In the year 1991, this is the question that schoolteacher Douglas Harold, the self-appointed historian among the Atomic Knights, is unable to solve. It's strange, Gardner. I've learned a great deal from the newspapers that you and the other knights have managed to secure for me from many of the cities over the country during your exploits of the last 5 years. For example, here's a paper published in St. Louis on October 19th, 1986, 10 days after the start of World War III. It's one of the last papers ever to appear in this country. St. Louis was hit that day. By studying it and other papers like it, I've come to the conclusion that every nation in the war believed that it was attacked. Now, how do you explain that, Gardner? I've been wanting to get your opinion. I can't explain it, Douglas. As the memory of the leader of the Atomic Knights travels backward, I was only an ordinary soldier during the war, and before I knew it, it was over. I was the only one left alive in our underground bunker. That terrible look on his face when he talks of the war. But maybe Bryndon can help you, Douglas. He was a top-ranking scientist in our atomic program. I'll ask him to come and see you as soon as he returns from a meeting. It strikes me that this question of which nation launched the first H missile is just the sort of thing that your history of World War III must answer, and which will make the work valuable for posterity. Gardner, Bryndon's been hurt. Better come quickly. Bryndon, I didn't know he was back. He just arrived. He's in the infirmary. Bryndon went off to a meeting of surviving scientists. The first since the war. He's been due back all day. But what could have happened to him in the improvised hospital room? He passed out from loss of blood, Gardner, but he's coming to now. I'm all right. Gardner, listen. I'd better talk fast. I might pass out again. Go ahead, Bryndon. It was about 20 miles from here. I was on my way back to Durvale when... Strange. It's just noon, and it seems to be getting dark. Editor's note. Scientist Bryndon is mounted on one of the giant dogs described in a previous Atomic Nights story. I thought at first it might be some kind of eclipse, but then, the further I go now, the darker it's getting. What's that ahead? A field of queer plants. I've never seen anything like them. And they're giving off an odd vapor. As I stared upward, the truth abruptly became clear. The vapor from the plants is rising and forming a huge cloud. By Jupiter, that must be the cause of the darkness around here. It's these plants. Suddenly, while I paused there, that vehicle coming along, it seems to be cultivating this patch. Could it be that seeds were planted here? Huh? There's no one at all inside the vehicle. It must be remotely controlled. I pressed on, and sure enough, soon after, shapes coming out of the darkness. Can't make them out too well. Hurriedly, I found an old piece of pitch pine and lighted it for a torch. Good gosh! What I saw is hard to describe and believe. The creature seemed vaguely human, but more like moles. Their eyes were mere slits, and they seemed to flinch from the light cast on them. The next moment, shooting at me, hit me in the shoulder. I remember thinking that for creatures with practically no eyes at all, their aim was remarkably good. The shot was like an energy burst. It nearly knocked me to the ground, and it did stampede my mount. The dog took off like an arrow. I barely managed to hang on. Dog heading in right direction. Got to keep from falling off. The dog instinctively brought me here. All right, don't talk anymore, old boy. Rest. Save your strength. You've done all anyone could expect. Well, Gardner, we're going to find out what those mole creatures are up to. Everyone put on full armor. It should protect us from their energy bursts. Leaving Marine behind to care for Bryndon, the remaining quartet of knights prepares for grim action. We'll ride double. The dogs can carry us. Let's go. Sometime later. Look, the darkness is spreading, moving close to Durvale now. And those strange shrubs giving off vapor. They seem to be springing up everywhere. What will we do, Gardner? The creatures may be in there waiting to ambush us in the darkness. Yeah, very likely, Hollis. But I have an idea. Using matches from a precious hoard, the leader of the knights lights an improvised torch. Editor's note. No articles like matches have been made since the war ended 5 years ago. Only those preserved still exist. Let's see if these queer shrubs will burn. If they do, it's a way of getting rid of them and giving us light at the same time. Terrific! They burn all right, Gardner. Shh! You hear something? The next moment, the mole creatures. They blasted the shrub, doused the fire. Let's go get them. But before the armored quartet can advance, spraying us with their energy bursts. They've knocked down the others, but so far I haven't been hit. Heedless of his own safety, Gardner plunges forward in a frontal attack. Bryndon was right. They don't look like they can see anything, especially in this darkness. So how can they aim right at us? Oh! It's like getting hit with a pile driver. But the radiation doesn't penetrate our armor. It's only the impact that hurts. Got to keep going. Then, got one of them. Now maybe I'll have a weapon. With indomitable fury, the ex-soldier wrests the pistol from his foe. Retreating, they don't show much loyalty to their fallen comrade. Too bad for him. You captured one of them. Great going, Gardner. Are you three all right? Sure, the burst stunned us, but we're not hurt. We're going after those bulls, aren't we, Gardner? We've got them on the run. No, we've only got one weapon. They may have hundreds. We've got to find out more about our enemies before we can defeat them. You mean? Yes, I mean our prisoner. Somehow we've got to find a way to communicate with this creature, figure out its language.
You won't have to figure out.
It speaks English.
Of course, fools. I'll tell you all you want to know, but it won't help you.
As the four startled, Atomic Knights exchange wondering glances. Let's get back to Dervale. We'll do our questioning there and see for ourselves whether or not it will help us.